Focus on the roads as road carnage continues to rise during this Easter period. In Mpumalanga alone, officials there say they've arrested over 100 people at the weekend. The province also recording around 20 fatalities. Let's talk about traffic enforcement and management plans with Moeti Mmusi, who's the head of comms for the Safety and Security Department in Mpumalanga. Good morning and welcome to you, Moeti. Thanks for your time. I just want to clarify, were these 100 arrests for alleged drunk driving alone, or were they the total number of arrests that were made?
Yes, absolutely. We have made other arrests, but those that we have arrested, those 100, they are for suspected drinking and driving alone on various roads since Thursday.
I mean, that's astonishing. I'd love for you, because I think in these moments it's really useful for the public to understand what happens when they drink and drive. So what happens at a stop when an officer pulls a motorist over to when they are breathalyzed and arrested?
Ms. Rapeti, should the traffic officers have a reason to believe that someone is drunk once they pull them over, the first thing that they will need to do, they will need to attempt and get him to blow into the breathalyzer. But there are others who will refuse to do that test. They will then be arrested and taken to the police station where blood samples will be drawn in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act. And then once the blood samples have been drawn, they'll be taken to the doctor to detect the person will only be charged after 2 hours. But during that period, he will be at the police holding cells while that process is underway. Is done in line with Criminal Procedure Act.
All right, and I'm glad you said that, because it is illegal in South Africa to refuse a test, a breathalyzer test, when motorists are pulled over. So you've confirmed that for us. You've also shared with us that in the field, officers conduct what's known as a blood alcohol concentration test, a BAC test. Then at the station, a more definitive test or a blood sample is drawn, and you've walked us through that process. But what I want you to share with our viewers is the penalties can be harsh. Fines of up to 120,000 Rand for first-time offenders, jail time of up to 6 years, and upon conviction, a permanent criminal test. Just talk to us about how strict enforcement is in Mpumalanga.
It is very strict enforcement, and it's done, like I've indicated, guided by the Criminal Procedure Act. If somebody, like I've indicated, refuses to blow into the breathalyzer, because the alcohol test, the one where blood samples are drawn, it's very definitive, and it can even be used. It's admissible evidence in a court of law. The consequences are far too damning to contemplate. So it's very important that people should not drink and drive, because you will have a criminal record that you will be held against your name for the rest of your life. Some, in other cases, this even deters them from moving career-wise. In other institutions, they won't even allow you to be promoted if you can be found to have a criminal record that comes from drinking and driving. So it is important that because this is not done to make motorists' life difficult. It's done to ensure that people do not drink and drive, considering the devastating consequences that the drink and driving has placed on many families as a result of deadly crashes resulting from drunk drivers.
Yeah, a really strong message there. And as you say, lots of permanent consequences for your career. And if you're planning also to go overseas, this can also be, an inhibiting or prohibiting factor for you. So we've spoken about driving under the influence. Moeti, what are some of the other enforcement trends that you've noticed over this Easter period? What else are motorists being pulled over? What are officials on the ground finding?
They are finding that some of the motorists do not want to adjust their driving according to prevailing weather conditions. We have seen there's been instances where it was raining on the N4 and there was mist, but you still had motorists driving with excessive speed, that is speeding. And then you have seen in some of the head-on collisions that we have. With the head-on collisions, and loss of control of the vehicle, therefore leading to a crash, it can only mean one thing. The driver was driving at an excessive speed, and he was also not on his lane. Some are not obeying the rules. We have also seen others coming through with vehicles which are not roadworthy. One of the things that we want to emphasize, particularly with the ones in the public transport, is that they should try and make sure that when they load their vehicles, there is a balance between their trailers and the minibuses that are pulling those trailers, because sometimes there's too much pressure that is placed on the braking system and even the tire pressure as a result of the vehicles being overloaded, either by goods or by people who are in those vehicles. Others are simply not resting when they are supposed to, because if you can see, we have had instances where somebody has driven for almost 400, even 500 kilometers, but then they'll just get and be involved in an accident just as they are about to arrive at their destination. It can only mean one thing. Others are also refusing not to rest. We are also aware that resting sufficiently when you drive does have the quality of the decisions that the drivers make. For example, someone might say, let me accelerate a little bit, I'm about to arrive. At that point, it's when you might be involved in an accident. Take into consideration the fact that you are not alone. Roads are shared spaces, and they must be treated as such. Respect other road users, then most probably will arrive at your destination safely.
Yeah, and I think what you said there last about respecting other people is one of the most important messages that we can take away, because you want to keep yourself safe, you want to keep your family safe, but also want to keep the rest of the road using community safe as well. And what decisions you make while you're driving will impact your life and impact the lives of other people. All right, so just share with us, as this Easter weekend comes to a close, we've got our reporters stationed at a number of entry and exit points around the country, high traffic volumes. What are the expectations for Mpumalanga, and what extra plans in terms of traffic enforcement and management have you laid on, Moeti?
So far, we have deployed 600 traffic law enforcement officers from the department. They are working closely with other stakeholders, such as your municipalities, traffic officers. RTMC is also assisting us in this regard. They are spread widely on most of the roads. We are expecting traffic volumes to start picking up just after lunch. And then we wish to implore on motorists to use the road safely, drive cautiously, and obey the rules, prioritize their own safety most importantly, and that of other road users, because we do not wish these numbers to increase, because we are already hovering around 20 or so. So we would have wanted to because this number far exceeds the one for last year this time. So last year we had recorded about 17 fatalities out of the Easter long weekend. So we are worried because we are now well over that number, and the Easter will only end probably, it ends today, as you are aware that most people are returning to work and to schools through various roads in the province. Our traffic officers remains on high alert.
All right, Moeti Mmusi, thank you for your time this morning. Really do appreciate it. I'll release you to carry on with your work. Moeti Mmusi is the head of communications for the Community Safety and Security Department in Mpumalanga.